let's get going then. Well, let's delve into transfers before we move on to anything else. A lot of the talk prior to the press conference today has been the rumours surrounding Adam Phillips and his future. Is there any truth in those rumours that there is interest from other clubs in him?
Phil's obviously a talented player, but we've had no bids. We've got quite a few talented players, and there's been no bids for any of our players. So business as usual.
Is that reassuring then?
Listen, it's one of those things where you know, as a manager, you expect good players and people to be interested in good players. I'd be more concerned if nobody's talking about the players. So it's just the nature of the beast. We get on with it.
In terms of your own plans then, how have things progressed at all to the point where you may well be able to further add to the squad?
No, nothing imminent, but a lot of work being done in the background to make sure that we get the targets in the right positions that we're looking to strengthen. So no further news to add really. I always say this, let's judge our business at the end of the window. For me, it's about working hard with my players, getting ourselves ready for Saturday, and then obviously the recruitment team's working hard to get the right players that we need.
And what about players that maybe you don't see playing so much in the first team? Has there been any interest in them if they're out on the sort of market and clubs know that they're available?
Yeah, listen, the squad needs trimming down. Some of the fringe players need to move on. I think you know, we've had 1 or 2 bits of interest, but nothing imminent on that as well. So you know, for myself, the squad's too big, and players get a little bit frustrated when they're not part of it, as they'd expect, and it's time for players to move on, to kick-start their careers again for whatever reason. So, but other than that, I expect them to come into the building, work professionally, and keep continuing to be professional. I'll accept nothing else, and to make sure that they're ready if called upon.
Putting 2 and 2 together and maybe not making 5, Dallas is obviously back at the football club now. I mean, is he somebody that might have to ply his trade somewhere else?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. And he's only been in a day. He's trained well. Barrow, you know, he's done all right at Barrow. So we'll see how things progress on that one. As
a more general comment on January transfer windows throughout your managerial career, how much of a pain perhaps has it been that everything seems to happen at the 11th hour with regard to transfers in and out in these windows?
Yeah, I mean, that's understandable. I think it's difficult to explain to supporters, to everybody really. There's a lot of things to go to negotiating or trying to get the right players in. A lot of the time they're wanted by other clubs as well. There's all sorts of implications, shall we call it, on trying to get the deals done, and sometimes you can get the rug from underneath your feet pulled. So yeah, it can look frustrating. It can be frustrating as well, to be honest with you. But we just get on with it. I don't try not to get too high, too low on that sort of thing, to be honest with you. And it can control the controllables. And a lot of my work is improving the team, improving the players we've got in the club, making sure that we're picking up plenty of wins come match day.
And tying recruitment and current form together, how confident are you that from the end of January onwards you'll be able to keep going as you are right now?
Well, that's the aim, right? To win our next game. You know, we always seem to want to rush so far ahead, don't we? Like you guys want to ask questions, and I get why you ask the questions, but for me, it's just focus on winning the next game. I know it's boring, and you want to hear more, and you need more, but for me, it's just focusing on that. We've got a game against Bristol Rovers Saturday. We're in a transfer window. We're trying to strengthen the team, and we try and move forward in a positive manner. And that's what we're doing, and making sure my lads are focused on the challenge ahead.
Before we focus solely on football, obviously Slanina's gone back. So in terms of bodies, would you look to replace that in that particular department?
Who's that, sorry?
Gabs Slanina, back to Chelsea.
Yeah, Gabs has gone back. Listen, I'm not one to talk about in this window the positions I'm looking to strengthen. I think that's disrespectful to my squad, no doubt. We need competition for places in all areas. We've got Jackson Smith in the building. We've got Ben Kellett that's been performing well. So we're always looking at every area and every position of our squad to strengthen it. Gagger's gone back, like you said there, when we thank him for his efforts.
Bristol Rovers then, a side and a club you know very well, deeply. What about them at the moment? Having a tough time with it?
Yeah, no, they've struggled this season, although their owners mentioned that they've got the biggest budget in their history and they're fifth bottom in the league at the minute, and invested highly into the squad. Not quite clicked. New managers come in, so yeah. Listen, going to Bristol Rovers is always a difficult place to go. I know that. We have to be ready for it because the manager will have them fighting for them. They have got some quality players, and we have to be at our best to go and pick up maximum points.
Does it help then that you will know the quirks of the place? You're on familiar territory.
Yeah, listen, it can be a hostile atmosphere on both ways, in both environments. If the players aren't wearing the quarters and not putting a shift in, trust me, their players will know about that. And it also can go in their favour when the team is performing well, they get right behind them. But our focus is to continue our magnificent away form, to go there with confidence. We were disappointed that last week's game's called off. We've had a bit of an enforced break, which I wouldn't have preferred, if I'm honest. But we go there in good fiato, not many injury concerns. So we're looking forward to it.
How much then did the Leyton Orient game just serve as a jolt? Because you've essentially been outstanding since that day.
There was some very good performances before Leyton Orient, not results. That's factual. The Leyton Orient game, a lot was said, understandably. It was a very great day for ourselves, but then the response has been emphatic. So credit to my players, credit to the way they've handled that, and credit that we find ourselves in a situation to attack. You know, we've had 2 wins from the second half of the season, and that's the aim, is to attack this second half of the season and finish high up the table as we possibly can.
Hi Darrell, you mentioned about sort of no bids. Obviously last window the stance from the club was very strong, sort of going to keep everyone. It seems to be the same this time. Is that the sort of message you're getting from those above you, that maybe a crazy bid could come in, but in general it's to keep the team together?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. We want to keep our best players, and like you say, you never say never in this game, but the message I'm giving that we want to keep our best players, and that's great to hear, and enables us to hopefully strengthen this window and add to it rather than taking some of our best players away.
It seems like a settled squad. I mean, obviously you know much better than me, but sort of not, at this time of year, I guess at some clubs people might be pushing to get out and stuff. It doesn't seem like that's the case here.
Yeah, listen, players want to play. You understand that, but also they're a fantastic football club. That's capabilities are going to the higher level. So, they have to work hard, train hard, fight hard to be able to get into my team, into my 18 as a consistent. And all players want to play Saturday at 3 o'clock. They all want to be in the team, but you can only cater for a certain amount. And we have a squad that's probably too big. Some fringe players get a little bit frustrated with lack of game time and not showing me enough to get the game time as well. To be honest with you, and they have to pasteurise new clubs to kickstart their career.
How much do you think sort of winning this run of games and shooting back up into the top 6 will help in terms of recruitment, in terms of players maybe wanting to come here?
I'm not sure it makes a big difference, if I'm honest with you. No, money normally talks, to be honest. It's the nature of the beast, isn't it? It's a fantastic club to be at, so I'm not sure it makes too much of a difference. For players, it's a job. Myself as a manager, I have more of a buy-in when I manage clubs. For me, it's about the players representing the badge in the club very, very well. Players, as you tend to see, there's not much loyalty. Both aspects of games, is there? There's not much loyalty from aspects of football clubs when players aren't performing, been injured, they will get released or bad form. And then when players are playing really well and see the capabilities of trebling, quadrupling the wages, players want to go, and then we call out loyalty.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the beast, in the world that we're in. So my job, my focus is that making sure that the players that we got in, the players that we do bring in, represent what we are as a football club and what I demand and the supporters demand. And that'll be the consistent message. It'll always be the consistent message. And players, I think, would always like to join a club like this.
And you've obviously had Mark Roberts come back in the last game. Donovan Plines has played really well. I know you're not going to talk about selection, but it's a good headache to have. You've got lots of competition there now, haven't you?
Really good. I think I've got 5 top centre halves. Pinesy, Robbo, early, Mal, Conor McCarthy's come in and done well as well. So you need that. You need that if you want to be competing at the top end of this division. And all of them are staking a claim, which is good. It's what we want. Similar to our midfield, Kelechi, Luca, Philo, John Russell are in tremendous form as well. So the competition places are really good in certain areas of our pitch.
Thanks, Darrell.
Cheers, Doug.
Thank you.
Hiya, Darrell.
Hi, Leon. You alright, mate?
Yeah, not bad. I was just thinking this time you're on a good run, but now January going into February, you look at quite a few other teams, obviously Bristol Rovers, you've got Wickham away down the line, Huddersfield, this and that. It's a really critical sort of period in your season, as you can set yourself up for the sort of run home, if you like.
You can, Leon, but the focus always has been for me from the start of the season. You need a certain amount of wins to be an automatic. You need a certain amount of wins to be in the playoffs, and it's immaterial of what club we're playing. It really is. And if you guys, obviously, some talented squads, talented teams in this division. We talked about it being probably the hardest league this season. League One's been for many years. You've got Peterborough that was playoffs last year. You've got Bolton that was playoffs last year. You've got us that were playoffs last year. Add into the mix loads of other teams that have been in the Championship. So we just focus on trying to win, whoever the opposition is. We go to attack every game, and we'll continue to that for the next 21 games, and let's see where that lies.
Yeah, with the window and everything now, I spoke to one or two managers, and I don't know if you feel the same. It seemed to be you get this lull in mid-window where there's a couple of weeks where not too much happens. I mean, fans are wanting things to happen here and now, but in reality it's not. It could not be like that sometimes, especially at this period.
No, exactly, and let's be honest, the January window is a tough window, isn't it? Because to get players out of people's teams, shall we call it, is a lot of money. Some of the business that's been happening in our league. There's been a hell of a lot of money spent, and sometimes you can spend over the odds. We're quite sensible as a way we try and do things and make sure that we do the right due diligence, right recruitment at the right price, because you can quickly start falling out a ladder if you're making bad signings or signings that are massively financial implications that are not working. So we'll keep with our message. We'll keep working away. Recruitment team, should I say, and my boss Maladen working very, very hard to make sure that the few quality additions that we want will be added.
Everything seems to be sort of happy there. There's no one sort of banging on your door saying let me go, sort of thing, anything like that. I suppose you've got fringe players.
No, not at all. The environment's a good environment. Like I said, fringe players obviously a different matter. More of me knocking on their door, to be honest with you, and telling them that they need to sort of move on. If I'm honest with you, Leon. In general, no, everyone's in a good place and working hard to do well for the football club.
I'm just going to ask you finally, would you be, in terms of your main squad, you'd be happy if there were no more ins and outs between now and the end of the window? Would that be a successful window almost, if you like?
I think, listen, I'd like to add the players that I'd like to add, Leon. That's not going to change. I'm not going to sit on the fence with that. I would like the positions where I think we need to be strengthened. What manager wouldn't? And obviously shorten the squad. So, but I know how much work that takes to go into, and I get on with any scenario. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah. Best of luck Saturday, Darrell.